Welcome. Hello. Welcome back. Today it's a very hot day, and today it's about monster lore. Now, for those of you who are wondering what's going on, there's going to be a lot of background noise to start off with because I've got all my windows open, door open, just so that I can cope. So that's what's going on. If you're wondering what is going on, I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. I will be presenting the elemental FrostCloud monster lore today from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica, but I will not be doing that straight away. Okay, I will do that at the appropriate time. Right now, it's not the appropriate time. Instead, we're going to go straight into this, and we're going to start building some tools around monsters. Hello, Fred Huber, and how's it going, DJ? Hello, how are you? So yes, a little bit different. I'm shifting things around for those of you who are wondering what's going on. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about role-playing games, monster lore. Now, I would be talking about an elemental, the FrostCloud, but we're going to leave that, as I have just said. Instead, we're going to roll straight into really what the question is in the poll, and that is we've been building a number of tools for monsters. And so what I want to do is I want to actually focus down on that first. Now, why am I doing it in reverse? Because I think it's going to work slightly better. Sometimes I change things just to see if they work better or if they don't work better, and this is one of those days where I'm shifting the routine, I'm shifting the original focus, and I'm putting things that were at the front now at the back, and some things that were at the back now at the front. Whew, okay, so that's what's happening for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a document that I've already started, and I'm going to use that document to actually show you what I have in mind. When I say, like, let's do monster sensors, and I'm going to suggest let's make 100 monster sensors, it's really about you coming up with ideas, and I put them down. That's what I do here on this channel. And then I will modify, change things, add things in myself, okay? Because there's always some sort of adjustment taking place. The hat will have to come off, but the hat is staying on for now. Actually, I will take the hat off. I'll put the hat on later, maybe. So my question to you is, hashtag FrostCloud monster lore will happen soon. Okay, but not just right now. Okay, now, what I want to do is I want 100 monster sensors. So when I say sensors, I mean things like how you see, how you smell, how you hear, how you taste something. Tasting's a sense. How you touch things, how you feel things. So those are sorts of things. So let's go tag name, and then once we have a tag name, we need a description. And I will get us started if you guys are struggling. So that's the intent. That is what we're going to try to do. I'm going to switch over to my other screen, and we'll get started. And yes, I don't expect to get 100. I think it would be unrealistic to get 100 different monster sensors. But let's at least try to do that. Let's try. Okay, so here we go. So we've got nothing here right now. Hello, Pale Rider and Fred. Sight, smell, vision, hearing, taste, infravision. So infravision is very specific. Ice cube in the bucket, in the butt crack helps cool down. I'm sure it does, Pale Rider. Thank you very much. Feet in a bucket of cold water. As I said, too many electronics in my office to be able to do that. Yes, we can. Okay, let's start off with, somebody said infravision. Infravision. The monster can see heat, waves, emanating, emanating. Is that no? Emanating, not emanating. Yeah, emanating. Emanating. There we go. Emanating from creatures. And warm or hot sources, I guess. Something like that. Heat from creatures and objects. So we've got that. Sources. Warm or hot sources. Okay. So that is infravision. We have got it down. Next, let's deal with vibration. Yes, it is a sense. Can sense vibrations in matter, air, liquid. Pick one. Pretty much, yes, absolutely. So IV, vibration. The monster feels vibrations or movement in matter, liquid, air, or air, yeah, okay. Feels vibrations or movement in matter, liquid, or air. I think that's got it pretty much covered. And solid matter. So I guess that'll do. Yep. Right, so we've got that one down. Empathic touch. Can feel emotions. Yes. Yes, we could do that. Why not? Sonic. Basically, you're talking about like echolocation, aren't you? So, heat is relative to absolute zero. Any heat. Vibration. Enhanced hearing. DJ. Enhanced hearing and touch by hairs like spiders, like a high perception sense. Okay, so I see where you're going with this. A sense of awareness, smell, blood of a hound, bloodhound. Enhanced hearing. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly how we do that one. Enhanced hearing. The monster. I'll go question mark for now. We'll come back to that. Okay, next. Empathic touch. Eve. Empathic. Empathic. And then we've got sonic. I'll put sonic in as well. Empathic. Empathic touch. The monster can feel the emotions of another creature by touching them. Okay, I think that's it. Empathic touch. The monster can feel the emotions of another creature by touching them. Got it. DNA smell. Okay, we can smell DNA. Alright, that's interesting. Let's put this. So V, so S would be here. Sonic. Sonar. The monster can detect shapes. Obstructions, and movement detect creatures, objects, shapes, environmental, terrain, and movement by reflecting sound of them. Okay, so we have sonar. We've given them sonar. DNA smell. Cool. Nice. I don't honestly think we'll get 100, but it's nice to think that we could go that far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick copy and paste, drop your ideas in, and then work on them. That'll just speed up that process. Otherwise, I know I'm going to fall behind. I don't want to fall behind. It'd be good if I can keep up with you. And I'm having to rewrite some of the stuff too, so that it would probably going to help if I do this that way. Let's go here. And drop that there. About formatting, and then drop the next one. So DNA smell can identify and track a specific DNA by smell, or like also magic sense to something, sense magic, like sending types of magic, like a way to sense. Okay, so really what you were trying to say is sense magic. And we just need to do the rest of it. So I just have to write the rest of it up. Alright, put that in. Life energy detection. Can feel life energy. Yes, I get it. I understand what you're trying to do there. So Fred Herbert will take that idea. We'll drop that in. Out that. And next, what else have you got here? Hey Fred, there's a cool touch of sense for dulling pain, works like a temporary defense buff, like a numbing pain to get some temporary AC to get. I'm not sure where this goes with. So DJ Loser Mind, I don't understand that. So as soon as you so DJ Loser Mind and anybody who's here, you should always be aware of how things I tend to do things when I'm doing this sort of stuff. I'm never really trying to tie anything that we make here in terms of these tools to armor class or AC, hit points, temporary defenses, things like that. Okay, because that is a more of a combat aspect. It's more D&D, and I want these tables to be system agnostic. So anytime you come up with something that is tailored more towards D&D, any version of the game, I'm probably going to ignore it. Okay, don't feel bad about that, but that is not my intention. Is that I want to be able to take these tools and put them together and make them system agnostic. Simply because they are much more likely to be useful to a larger variety of people. So yeah, whatever you're trying to do there, I think, yeah, just eliminate the concept of any game mechanics. Don't put game mechanics in there. Just think outside of that. Need to fetch your headphones? Okay, you fetch your headphones. That's cool, no problems. Tracking site. Can see tracks made by living or undead made within 24 hours. But how? How? I'm a little lost as to how that is possible. I get the idea, it's tracking site, but like how? Do you know what I mean? That's the big question for me, is like, let's remember we're dealing with senses, so there's got to be some sort of biology thing going on here, or some sort of magical thing going on here, but I don't understand why it works that way. The monster can see tracks made by living or undead made within 24 hours. And why do we need to have a time limit? So again, I would just eliminate the time limits. Time limits are things that game masters create, not me, not you, not anybody else. So yeah, so we're going to leave that one out. But we'll kind of keep going with this. I'm going to go back to the document so you can see what's going in here. Okay, so we've got a few here that I still need to sort of figure out what's going on here. Retool, readjust, slide in. We probably do need to do the basic sensors, because the basic sensors are still going to be something that you're going to want to include in some monsters. They may not have specialized, very extreme or unusual sensors. What are the detected things that it tracks? Yeah, what are they detecting when they yeah, that's the Fred, that's exactly it. Something that we probably do want to include here, and that is dark vision or night vision. Let's go with night vision. Night vision. The monster can see can see in a grey scale while in total darkness. Now, why has I got grey? I'm not American, so it should be. Oh God, that really messes me up sometimes. Right, so I put night vision is now somewhere else. So we'll go cut, and it goes in. So it should be there. Okay. Cool. So we've got night vision, but we've got some other things we need to do. You're such a nerd. Why are you such a nerd? Let's have a look. What do we got here? I can see the composition of ground. We call that footprints and assume the ground's compression. Tracking site works via smell and infrared radiation to track the recent tracks, since they need to fade blood and jolly liquids last. Okay, all right. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. I think what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to create, so we've already got infravision, so there's no point putting something that deals with heat, and a combination of something is going to be complicated for somebody who wants to separate things. So what we do, don't feel bad, I'm going to take this out. Instead, you said something about radiation. Now that's a little different. So I'm going to go with a question mark. The monster can detect small and large doses of radioactive decay. So what we want is what you want, DJ, is radioactive decay, which is a little bit different to heat. It's not quite the same thing, correct? So I think that's what you were trying to go for. What do you got here, Pale Rider? Time limit, because they fade over time, you track. Yeah, but we're going to leave the time limit thing. We're going to leave that for game masters to decide, dungeon masters to decide. 24 hours, fine, but is it actually going to be 24 hours? Is it going to be 8 hours? I don't think we need to. This is one of those things where sometimes I don't want to put a limit on something which I don't actually think is helpful. Remember, the idea is to open up options. These tables and what we do here, these lists basically are about opening up options, not closing them off. Okay, so let's deal with the next one, which I believe is hearing. Define. So we just want basic hearing. Sound. Okay, the monster can perceive sound. That's all I need. Hearing. The monster can perceive sound waves traveling through the air or liquid or liquids. Okay, right, so travelling's 2 L's. Okay, right, so hearing, let's put the hearing one in. It's a very basic one. I was expecting somebody to come up with hearing fairly H-I fairly soon, but it's all right, I'll put it in myself. That's cool. Next, we've done hearing, so let's eyes. So sight. Define sight. Magic sensors, Pale Rider, what have you got here? Oh, detects brain waves, can feel the electromagnetic pulses from a brain. Okay. That's interesting. Let's put that in. And I might, because there's 2 ideas there, I might just jump over to my head cam and just copy and paste it into there, nice and quick. Make it easy. There we go. Copy and drop it in. Paste. And then the next one, that's Fred Huber's. And then Pale Rider's got the magic sense, so we've got something to paste. Magic sense. Okay. Alright, so good. Got them. Let's tidy them up, put them in there in some way. So detect brainwaves. I almost feel like you're dealing with alpha waves, aren't we? What are brainwaves? Problem is, brainwaves tend to be different. They're not just one thing. Electric impulses, oscillation, because they can be beta, they can be alpha. Brainwaves, repetitive patterns, neural activity, neural oscillation. Well, that might be about right. Maybe we can just do something with that. Beta, alpha, theta, delta. Okay. Brain states. What are the human brain? There's 4 of them. Okay, so that's not really going to help. Okay, let's go with here. Let's take this and add that to our brain stuff, and that will probably help build that out. Whoa, that didn't work. Why did that not work? Did I not get rid of the... Oh, that's better. Neural brain... Neural oscillation, we'll just call it that. Can feel the electromagnetic pulse. Okay, let's go with this. And we'll go here. Let's mark this. Feeling the weave. Well, the weave is very specific to a particular type of magic, right? Remember, the weave is more around D&D magic. What happens if you're not using D&D magic? What if you're using your own magic system? What are you using somebody else's magic system? So we won't worry so much about the weave. Sorcerers were born with it. Hello, Mr. Stevens. How are you? Fear adaptation to perceive fear in nearby entities. Interesting. reflexes that flies get. That's a good idea. Reflexes. Let's do that. So neural oscillations, neural oscillation. Neural oscillation. So the monster detects brainwaves rhythmic or repetitive patterns of neural activity in the central nervous system of other creatures. Okay, all right, I think we got that one. Let's go there. N for NN neural. Yep, take that out, put that in there. I think that one's done. Paste. Sweet. Sweetie pie. All right. Fortune teller's taste can predict any possible future by licking. Really? Fair adaptation. Okay. All right, well, let's drop a few of these other ones that you've come up with in there. It seems like there's a couple of them now. So let's do them. And whoop, I just got to unhighlight everything, since suddenly I managed to highlight everything that you've got here. Feel a weave, magic sense. So fear adaptation. Let's take that one, Mr. Stevens. Let's put that into our list of things to deal with. Okay, come back to that. Perceive. All right. So, what else have we got here? Fortune telling taste. I feel like that's nobody said ESP. Nobody's mentioned ESP yet. I was waiting for somebody to say ESP, Fred. ESP. And nobody said it. I think what you're describing here is clairvoyancy, if anything. Clairvoyancy. I think that's right. Clairvoyancy. The supposed faculty of perceiving events, things or events in the future or beyond normal sensory contact. So, I think what we will do is we'll call it clairvoyancy, because that seems like it's pretty clear then what it is. The monster can predict any possible future event really. I think that's the gist of it, isn't it? Things or events. It says things can predict. So clairvoyancy, the monster can predict any possible future event. I think that's good enough. We're dealing with any. Okay, that's better. That's better. All right, let's grab your ideas here. Weakness sense can sense if someone is sick or has a wound and what type it is. Pale rider, that's very clever. Yeah, no, that's very true. I agree. Fred, thinking it is hard to come up with senses. It really is. It's not that easy, which is why we're doing this exercise in the first place, right? Because when we've been making monsters in the past, we do include the senses of that monster or creature. Good, thanks. They're helping me lately. Okay. Second D&D session tomorrow after late long break. Forge of Fury. Okay. Well, good. Good luck with Forge of Fury, by the way, Mr. Stevens. ESP. Let's put ESP down. E.S.P. Now, I don't know if ESP tends to have a whole lot of things bracketed around it, so that may not be terribly useful, but we'll think about that a bit more. Okay, transdimensional sight can see into the alternate dimensions occupying the same space. Fred Huber, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. You always have good ideas. I'm being nice now. You know that. Okay, transdimensional sight. Let's drop that in there as well. Life and or death sense. Can sense the presence of or living or of a dead being. Okay, so a certain range. So I think what we do is we separate those. Those are two different things for me. Does that make sense to you? Okay, I think we need to separate those into two different things. So we will. Life force. Sense can perceive the presence of living creatures. And then we have undead sense. The monster can detect the necrotic or evil soul possessing a undead corpse, which is basically what we're dealing with here. And I've got to spell corpse correctly, otherwise that's not going to help me. Alright, so, okay, I'll drop that in. What else do we have here? Divination can sense potential in the future of others. Okay, Mr. Stevens, we will take this idea. It's a good idea. We have portal sense now. Someone's got down portal sense. Interesting. Well, we will take that. I will accept that. No problems. Portal sense. Portal sense can sense the location of portals. All right. Well, I will of course adjust that a little bit, but the basic gist is pretty good. Let's take that and put that in. It's down on my list. Danger sense can sense or feel impending threats. Yeah, it's like the spider sense. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, why not? I think that's not bad. Not bad as an idea. Let's do that. And include. Paste that. Okay. Now there are some things we probably need to make sure we get done. First off, we need to make sure we have sight. We haven't done sight yet. I will. Smell. We haven't done smell yet, just basic smell. Taste. Taste. We haven't done basic taste either, which is fine. I don't expect you to come up with those ideas. Those are things I can just sort out myself. That's all good. And then we have tactile. Tactile. And I can sort out that myself because we know what that sort of sense is. Those are the four sort of basic senses that we haven't sort of included. All these other things are sort of more specialized things that make our monster a little bit more interesting. Oh, have you got another one here? Memory taste can access victims' memories by tasting. Taste, memory taste. That's an interesting idea. Let's grab that, copy, and drop that in. And I'll put this over here. There's a few ideas here, people. You guys are doing very, very well. Okay. All right. So, we've got a whole bunch of ideas. Color vision. Color. Yeah, that's right. We did that last, didn't we? We did that last week, didn't we? Color vision. Not everything actually sees in color, so it might seem stupid, but color vision is a thing we might want to consider. So what I'm going to do now that we've started this process, so I've gone backwards today, as you might have discovered. Now I'm going to roll forward and present the FrostCloud. I'm going to close my door for a few minutes. The FrostCloud, I don't expect this to take more than 4 or 5 minutes because I kind of had to make some stuff up or adjust some things. I'm going to do that presentation. I'm going to do that right now, and then we'll roll back into, if there's time left, we'll roll back into what we started doing, which is coming up with different monster senses that we can use in our monsters when we're making our monsters. So that's the intent. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, let's go over here and close this door. Bear with me, people. Dear. If I got myself in a decent position. All right. Sweet. I think I am just about ready. Yes, I am. And a drink of water will make all the difference. And then we're ready to fire it up. So, let's fire it up. Hi, welcome to HowtoRPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about monster lore. The monster lore, in fact, for a monster you probably have never heard of, because this is the FrostCloud. Now, the FrostCloud is from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. It is a Dungeons & Dragons 5e compatible monster, okay? And this is just the monster lore for that creature. Now, the FrostCloud elemental can blanket a grove of trees and freeze them completely solid. A FrostCloud is not just a bank of fog. The ancient monasteries call the FrostCloud a spirit, but is it in fact a spirit? We don't know. Now, the Jade Mangus refer to the FrostCloud as a manifestation of something that came from between the planes of water where they meet with the planes of air. A FrostCloud does not eat like an animal or a person. Instead, they actually absorb heat from other creatures. Freezing a creature to death is what a FrostCloud elemental does best, by wrapping itself around its victim and chilling it with its embrace. Now, extreme heat and fire will cause the FrostCloud to evaporate. It will actually try to destroy it. So use it. As you would expect, a FrostCloud can squeeze through or pass through very, very narrow gaps, and magical weapons are the only thing that are totally effective against a FrostCloud, like most elemental beings anyway. The FrostCloud can't be harmed by cold or energy that is cold in nature, or by poison, so don't bother. Tending to hunt at night, the FrostCloud can see in the dark, but it also has an extra sensory perception. In other words, it doesn't need to use eyes. It doesn't really even have eyes. You can actually talk to a FrostCloud because it does understand a few different languages, and naturally it is not hostile, but it still needs to feed to survive. Now, all of this you can find as part of Esper's Emporium of Esoterica and his monster lore. I recommend checking it out. It's quite a good monster. It still has some elements that sort of feel like a vampiric mist, but not completely the same. So I want to thank you for listening and watching. I want to thank Esper the Bard for actually allowing me to use his monsters in these live streams and supporting that process. I want to thank you for listening and watching. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay. So, I need to jump here. So I'm going to show you the entry for the FrostCloud from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. Esper has been asking me to do this so that you can actually see what the stat block looks like, what the entry in the book looks like, and I think that's probably the smartest way to go, is to keep doing that, because it's going to probably be more useful to you, and I'm fine with doing that. I have no problems whatsoever, so we will do this. Why am I finding myself wondering where to put this? Okay, here we go. This is the entry in Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. This is the FrostCloud elemental. He's got a couple of different elementals in his book, but the lore or story behind it is very short. It is not intended to have a lot of information behind it, and I've only added a smidgen to it. Really, I've just reformed it. What you will notice about the FrostCloud elemental is that it has a very low armor class. It has reasonable experience points for a level 2 creature. Not experience points, hit points, should I say. And it's not very strong. So it's more a creature of stealth rather than anything else. And it doesn't really have a true form, which is why we have things like cloud form, allowing it to move through unusual spaces. And why it can, you'll see there's a feature called evaporate, which means basically fire damage or heat from some sort of source will actually hurt it, depending on how much heat you're generating. Like most elementals, the FrostCloud actually has a slam attack. I'm never terribly fond of a slam attack on an elemental, but I understand the desire to put them there. The Frost Embrace is probably the one thing that I think is far more interesting. And its saving throw is a DC 12. For a challenge rating 2, I would say it's close enough. I would have preferred a 13, but that's beside the point. I'm not really commenting on Esper's mechanical build for the monster. And then you've got your artwork that's basically, it looks like just a white cloud with arms and a face. And this is the monster that's included here. I think there's a lot of potential for a creature like this in a game, particularly if you're playing in Ravenloft or Barovia and you're dealing with something like Gothic horror, and you want to scare your players and you're dealing with the mist, because you could include something like the FrostCloud elemental in the mists of Barovia or in a Ravenloft adventure where you're dealing with a border or a restriction that they can't sort of pass through. Walking into the mists of Barovia or Ravenloft would be a bad idea, obviously, because you start having trouble breathing and it might poison you, but also there are things living in the mist that might affect you or might try to target you. Consider you food. So when a FrostCloud attacks you, it's really just feeding itself rather than malicious. You'll notice that it's neutral in nature. So that's just a general concept. That doesn't mean, like all monsters, you can always change the alignment of a monster. You don't have to keep them fixed the way they are. Anyway, so I thought I would at least go over that with you very quickly. And then what we want to do is we want to jump back into what we were doing before, because we do have a little bit of time left. And I believe the chat will probably have come up with some interesting ideas. So it'll be nice to actually see what you've got there. So here we go. This is it. This is the monster sensors that we have started already. And you will see that the break here is right there. So after this is a lot of stuff I need to sort of move around, shift around. But even with that, it looks like, even though I thought 100 would be ridiculous, it looks like we're going to wind up with at least 30 different types of sensors. I can assure you we can probably do better than that. Absolutely. Absolutely can do better than that. I have no doubt. We'll get a lot more. Because all you need to do is pick up a monster book, a monster manual for D&D or some other system, and there'll be a whole lot of different monster sensors described in there. So then again, you have a new arsenal. And it doesn't matter what version of your game you're playing, they will usually have, in a monster book, they'll have a breakdown of that sort of stuff. Okay, color vision, Infra touch can detect temperature by touch. Well, I think that's really unnecessary. I think infravision does all that it needs to do. We're detecting heat. Whether you touch, look, you just modify the infravision. Instead of it seeing the heat, you touch to detect the heat. Like, that's just a different version of infravision as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So I don't know that we need to worry about that one for now. Anyway, I'm going to add in, was I doing site? You can see, managing observe site, define the city of power of seeing. Looking through this, sights for gun, no, site, full meaning of sight. Okay, something. The process, power, and function of seeing, specifically one of the 5 physical senses, of which light is similar. Okay, all right, so representation of position, shape, brightness, and usually a color, brightness, and space. So I think that is what I need to grab. So we'll grab that, and we'll put that into basic sight. The monster uses eyes to, and let's just drop this in, to detect light, the position, shape, brightness, and possibly color of objects in space, objects and creatures in space. Okay, I think that's got our sight done. So we'll take sight, so it was one of our basic sensors, and we'll cut and put it into S for sight. Sight, right here, after night vision. Paste. Sweet. Cool. Nice. All right. Oh, we have a couple of other suggestions here. So it looks like I'm going to be dropping a few more in here before I disappear. So that's fine. Let's do that. Let's make that happen. I'm all good for that. Let's do that. Drop that in. Change it over and copy and paste. Where are you? You were thinking of underworld vampires. So what about you? You've got danger sense, we've got the portal sense. I've put those all down already, haven't I? Danger sense, portal sense, yes. And what we're dealing with is new stuff. Infra touch, we want detect alignment. Oh dear. So that's a very AD&D concept, detect alignment. For those of you who are still playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, it looks like we have detect alignment added to the list of things to put in there. Wealth can sense the monetary. Really, Mr. Stevens, it's pretty funny. I don't know how they're supposed to sense that. How are they supposed to sense that? The monetary wealth. I don't know. How am I supposed to write that one up? It's going to be a tricky one. I'll tell you that now. Going to be an odd one to deal with. I'm putting huge question marks there. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. Infra touch would be monumentally weaker than sight. They would, yes, I agree. It would be weaker than having sight, being able to touch to tend. Look, even let's get real. I have infra touch, don't I? You have infra touch. You could touch something to figure out how hot or cold it is. This really falls under tactile, if anything. Pretty funny though. It's pretty funny. It's not bad. You did good. I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to finish here. It is getting warm as I close the door in my office, and it's getting hot now. So let's have a look here. What does the poll say? Infratouch. Every monster has that. So do you think monster senses are important to the creation of a monster? Yes, 77%. Just watching, 22%. No, 0, undecided. Okay. So I'm glad to see that the majority of people who voted believe that monster senses are quite important. What I would say to you, when you're designing your monsters, I want you to think about the very first thing that comes between you, the monster, the game master running a monster, and the player character's character. When the players are playing their character and the monster, what is their first interaction? It's always through the senses. So how a monster uses their senses to detect your player characters is absolutely vital to nail that down. You need to know what that is and how that will work. Okay? Even if it's very rudimentary in terms of how they see or hear or smell or touch or taste. That doesn't matter, but at least you need to have some idea, because almost all interactions between player characters, okay, and the monsters have to engage the senses. You can engage player characters with monsters by giving them a picture on a wall, and then of course you don't have to worry about the senses of the monster because it's just a pictorial representation. Okay, and the players using their senses to detect it using eyes and seeing and smelling and all the rest, but a picture. But when you're actually dealing with a monster to player character, senses don't get any more important. They have to be right up there. Otherwise it doesn't make any sense at all. So you have to think about it, even a little bit. Which is why we're doing this. Anyway, I am going to finish here today. I'm finishing up early. What I will say, for those of you who are wondering what the heck is happening tomorrow, I will be dealing with a new class for, I believe it's Ultramodern 5. Ultramodern 5 is a version of Dungeons and Dragons 5e. It is using a modern environment or a science fiction environment. It's more high tech, and so the classes for that particular book, Ultramodern 5, represent the fact that they are set in a modern age or a science fiction age. And so we're going to do the face. For those of you who remember the A Team, and there was a character called Face, well, this is what that class is like. It's like the Face. It's the one that does all the talking, okay? And there's a specific class designed right around that. Rather than calling it the Bard, it's called the Face. So we'll get back to that tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully you'll join me for that, and we'll build that character. I certainly hope it will be easier than the Civilian. I thought the Civilian would be easy, but it's definitely not. Anyway, okay, thank you to everybody who took part in the poll today. Thank you for everybody who's watching and listening and sharing. I really want to thank my patrons. Very important to thank them, because without them, I would not be able to do this. I certainly need to thank Esper the Bard, because he sent me his book. He sent me all the resources I needed so I could talk about these monsters, and I do really appreciate it, Esper. Thank you for doing that. I want to thank everybody who's been in chat, providing their ideas around how monster senses might work. We'll continue working on that until it's done. So I want to say thank you specifically to Pale Rider, Mr. Stevens, Fred Huber, who is a patron. I believe did we have somebody else here? I can't remember. DJ Loser Mind. Thank you for commenting and putting in your 2 cents or 3 cents or whatever you want to call it. Okay, I really do appreciate it. And yeah, look, wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Oh, I'm sorry, Noroak. Yep, I'm just signing out. I'm just about to leave. And by the way, Noroak is a patron. Yes, I'm making my streams a lot shorter because of the weather and to help survive.